lives. So congratulations to each of you, your resilience and your perseverance. And if you are seated or at home or at work or wherever, just take a few moments. Let's close our eyes and let's invite the presence of God into our space. God, we thank you this morning for all that you have done, for the way you have sustained us and kept us in such an interesting season and an interesting time. We thank you now, God, for the class of 2020, probably the most resilient class we have seen in my lifetime and probably in many of our lifetimes. They have adapted to so much. They have adjusted to online learning, to distance learning, to virtual classrooms. They have been patient and they have persevered through. And so we thank you for a moment and an opportunity to celebrate them, even virtually. We thank you, Lord God, for the accomplishments that they have attained. And we thank you, God, that this is a milestone, but this is not the end of their journey, God. We thank you that as they enter into the workforce, as they make their way to college campuses, as they join the military or do other acts of public service, we thank you that you will be with them, that you will continue to keep them and sustain them. We thank you for the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the godparents, the village that has surrounded them to get them to this point and to this moment, God. And we just pray that this entire service, that your spirit and your presence will be with us. We pray that they might know that they are loved beyond measure, that they are celebrated, and that they are cherished in our community. And so we thank you and we praise you and we give you all the glory. These and all of the blessings we ask in your son's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Reverend Gill. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to stay because I know that you're in your car. I see that. So you can jump if you have to, but thanks so much again for that. I am going to go ahead and share my screen again because there's a few housekeeping things that I would like to share with everyone before we get started. And I'm going to shut my video so I'm not distracting in your corner. So before we get started, kindly rename yourself if you have not already, just so we know who's joined us today. Also, please set your view to active speaker so you don't have to scan the room because there's quite a few people who've joined us today and you don't want to have to scan the room to find out who's speaking at any given time. And finally, feel free to use the chat to say good morning, shout out the college you're going to go to, or ask a question of a speaker. And if we have some time, we'll get to the questions at the end as we want to respect your time and stay on time, which is ideally around an hour or so. So, again, good morning and welcome to our first ever virtual commencement celebration sponsored by St. Paul Community Baptist Church. My name is Monica Britton and I am the Director of Communications and Special Projects at St. Paul, and I will be your moderator today. I am also a proud graduate of the University at Albany in our state's capital, Albany, New York, where I currently serve on the Alumni Association Board of Directors and where I became a member of my sorority Zeta Phi Beta. I have been a member of St. Paul since 2001 and on staff since 2006, but prior to that, I had an extensive career in the music industry where I was employed at Capitol, Virgin, and Universal Motown Records in their marketing divisions. It is my honor to be here with you today to celebrate the accomplishments you've made in the last 12 years of school in total, and to encourage and motivate you to give 1,000% as you embark on this new chapter of life to SUNY Oswego, Buffalo and Broome, Virginia State, Lincoln, Xavier, Medgar Evers, Buffalo State, Queensborough, Delaware State, Syracuse, the American Musical and Dramatic Academy, Wesley College, or even if you're undecided as to where you're going or what you're gonna do. You have conquered unprecedented times and have all the tools that you need to embrace the new normal in the way our nation is going to do college moving forward. So while nerves are expected, know that you absolutely got this. So enough for me talking. All of this wouldn't be possible. Today would not be happening without the vision and leadership of our ministry's lead pastor, Reverend David K. Brawley, who is going to come now and bring and share some words. So let me unshare my screen and unmute you, Pastor. You're unmuted, Pastor.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Congratulations to all of our graduates, to our moderator who has convened us and has done a great job of framing our time together. We are so proud of each and every one of you. I think Pastor Gill said it best. The word that I would use to describe where you are right now, what you have demonstrated, is resilience. Resilience is going to be necessary moving forward, as your generation is the generation of influencers. I believe that education moving forward has to be a lifetime pursuit for all of you, not just 4 years of college, but kind of get your mind prepared to learn, to grow, and to be a lifelong learner. Because they say in the next few years, every 5 to 10 years, you'll have to learn some new skill, acquire some new level of education to be able to grow in the job, career, and field that you choose. I think that this moment in history is preparing all of you for that. But let me add this. I think as you begin to grow academically and attain what you want to attain for your career and your future, remember you're not by yourself. Your resilience also comes from the fact that you are from and a part of a resilient people. Our ancestors demonstrated resilience. Our ancestors always found a way and made a way out of no way. You come from a great people and you serve a great God. Also know that you are from a great community called the St. Paul Community Baptist Church, a church of resilient people, a church known for building over 5,000 affordable homes in our community, a church that has been known for legislation that has brought a living wage to our community, a church that has fought for the oppressed, the marginalized, fought for our seniors, fought to bring quality education to our community. You represent a resilient community. And no matter all the changes you will go through, you can overcome because you are a resilient people. You're a resilient student. You're a resilient young man. You're a resilient young woman because you come from a resilient people and we serve a resurrected Savior who gives us the ability and the power to overcome anything that comes into our lives. Today, we take this time because we know that in some ways, celebrations have been truncated. We know that some rites of passage have been altered based on this COVID-19 reality. But please accept this time, this hour, as our community's way of saying, we are so proud of you. We wanted you to know that. We wanted to take this time on behalf of the St. Paul Community Baptist Church, all of our officers, members, and friends. We congratulate each and every one of you. All of the best. You got this. God bless you.
Oops. Thank you, Pastor. So I'm going to share my screen again. So we've come to the portion of the program called What's Next. And what that means is we've invited a couple of current college students who are going into their sophomore year in the fall, and they are affiliated with our ministry to share a little bit about their experiences from their freshman year. So I'll introduce them really quickly. I'm actually texting with one right now. He's going to jump on in a second. But thankfully, our first one is on. Tamani Manley is a sophomore at Damon College in Buffalo, New York. Before starting at Damon, Tamani graduated from the Academy of Young Writers in the East New York section of Brooklyn. As a member of St. Paul Community Baptist Church, she was involved in the Ma'afa commemoration for about 5 years consecutively and was a member of the Voices of Hope Youth Choir. In high school, she participated in the Black Lives Matter and Restorative Justice Clubs, and she was also a cheerleader. And Reginald K. Huggins is a 19-year-old sophomore attending Howard University in Washington, D.C., where he is majoring in architecture and is a part of a 5-year program in which he will graduate with his bachelor's and master's degrees. Outside of school, Reggie played club rugby for 3 years and plans on creating a club in college. Reggie was a participant in our ministry's mentoring initiative for young men, the Chinusu Bakari program for young men, and completed their rites of passage in 2018. To learn more about CB, please visit youngblackmanonline.org. So Tamani, you'll go first, and then Reggie, please follow her. I hope he's in here by the time I unshare my screen. And then I'm gonna stop sharing and then unmute you both. Okay, Tamani, you're unmuted. Oh, but your sound isn't. Hold on, Tamani. Your sound, you have to unmute yourself. Wait, let me see if I can do it. Wait, I'm supposed to unmute you, and I did. Okay, you're good. Oh, your connection is a little off, Tamani. Okay, I'm gonna go back to her in a sec because, oh, your connection is a little off, Tamani. I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna mute you back, and then I'm gonna call you offline to see if we could get you a little bit better. Yeah, you keep freezing. Okay, we're early because our commencement speaker isn't here yet. So, Reverend Gill, are you still there? Because you said you'd stay on as long as I needed you. If you could share a little bit about the college experience, because you are working at a college right now, that would be, so what the students can expect to look forward to. So I'm gonna unmute you right now. Okay, Rev, thank you for staying.
Okay.
And oh, wow, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, college is about what I'm doing right now, multitasking. But no, I think that, well, I think kind of as Monica and even Pastor Brawley insinuated, for you, college is going to be a completely new experience. The truth is, if I'm being, is that we don't even know, right? It's going to be a huge act of faith to figure out how a lot of things are going to be done logistically. I think you're going to be challenged and stretched in new ways. You're going to meet people from all kind of different backgrounds, people from all kind of different walks of life and ways of life, and that's going to stretch you. And also you're going to have some experiences that you take to a campus that will make that campus better. We're seeing now so many student movements where young people who are your age or not that much older than you are really becoming change agents, and they're shaking up the world. They're creating new policies at their institutions. They're causing their institutions to really think about whether or not Black lives truly matter. So this is an amazing time to be Generation Z. This is an amazing time to be on a college campus. This is an amazing time to be a college student. And this is an amazing time to go out into the world. So I would just expect to be stretched, expect to be grown, or whatnot, expect to be challenged in new ways and in different ways. And also just expect the unexpected. Is really kind of what we're telling students nowadays or whatnot. It may be or whatnot that you may be the first class where we're doing virtual or whatnot, where we're doing virtual virtual extracurriculars or virtual outside experiences or whatnot. You may be one of the first classes where we're rethinking or whatnot classroom sizes or whatnot. So again, your class is going to be the class we'll be talking about, as I said earlier, for the rest of our lives or whatnot. And so because you guys have been so resilient, so persistent, because you guys have just rolled with the punches and made the changes, I have stood in awe and in absolute amazement of what you have done this year. So I'm just looking forward to see how you grow in these next 4 years to come. So I think that's really what I would leave with you, is just to begin to expect the unexpected, go with an open mind, go with an open heart, and also be determined and resolved to be yourself. Just be you, or not unapologetically, because I think that's what we need more of now in these times.
Thank you, Reverend Gill. Were you going to say some more? Uh-oh. Did you mute? Oh, wait, you muted. Gotta love Zoom, don't you? Hold on.
Okay, I see it now.
There you go.
No, I was done. I'm pretty removed from that experience. I do want to hear what maybe even some of your graduates that are on now or whatnot. I would love to hear from them of what has been the thing that has kept them going to finish out this particular semester, a semester that they never seen before. So if you have some of the graduates that are on now, what has allowed them to finish? What has allowed them to be resilient? What has allowed them to push through?
That's a great question. I'm going to Tamani's back and her connection's better. So I'm going to go on ahead and unmute you, Tamani. And you can answer Reverend Gill's question, like, how did you push through, in addition to what we talked about you sharing? But you can answer both. So Tamani, you are unmuted. Tamani? Uh-oh. When I tell y'all Zoom is killing me softly right now, because Tamani is unmuted, but your sound is still not great. So I can't hear you at all, actually. Thank y'all for the patience with the tech. Okay, I'm gonna mute Tamani because the other graduate is getting on. Oh.
Can you hear me?
Okay, Reggie?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Barely. You're very low.
Can you hear me better?
Much better. Thank you. So you
Sorry
missed
about
Reverend
that.
Gill's. Oh, no problem. Thanks for getting on. You missed Reverend Gill's question regarding how did you push through as once they sent you home from Howard? Like, how did that work out for you? And just how, in addition to, how did your freshman year in general come together?
In general, my freshman year was kind of rocky for me, only because I was dealing with a lot of family stuff at home. And like, otherwise, academically, the work was pretty simple for me. It was just a matter of just time management and lack of focus. But I feel like that's what everybody goes through for their first year. Just sometimes time management and focus gets in the midst of things. But I know that the work was pretty much good and easy for me. And a lot of times it was just me trying to do it. But just being here and trying to deal with a lot of like mixture things with Corona, it was challenging, but I was also found it pretty successful because a lot of stuff being here opened my mind to different ideas and opportunities of like doors that I figured that couldn't have been opened if I was at college. Also, just things that I noticed in my neighborhood that I could change within architecture as well, because my major is architecture.
Yes, and can you give a little bit of insight on the 5-year program that you're in at Howard?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I go to Howard University. I do an architecture 5-year program. So basically, we go from beginnings of understanding architecture 101, going through handheld drafting and other things like orthographic projections and learning the basics of architecture, what a line is, line weights, building structures, and then also interpreting that into today's events, also understanding how you can express emotions within architecture and buildings. Then going further on, understanding CAD programs in the next few years, then understanding engineering and sustainability, and then figuring out how we can survive in the next future, because we're today's builders. We're the next future's builders. We have to figure out how we're gonna live the next way, because now we're gonna have mega cities and overpopulation is gonna happen. We have to figure out how to design buildings and houses for people to live in and work, and also have it, and also make food. So there's a lot of things going into architecture now, especially going into the future, and that we all have to learn. And it's all going through step by step each year in the architecture 5-year program. And it's great. Like, I connect with a lot of my junior classmates and my sophomore classmates. And it was a blessing for me because I had 2 other classmates that are upperclassmen from my high school that went to Howard. So it was really nice for me because I had that connection, and they always just to help me. Oh, we just bounce ideas off each other and we're helping each other. So it was a good environment for me.
How did you find being away? Obviously, you chose to go away. Some people choose not to. Most of the people on the call today, or most of the graduates, are going away. So how did that work for you?
I loved going away. For me, I just like traveling. I like being away from home and having that distance and a way to like know where home is and like have that home base. For me, felt great. So being away was just more of like understanding that I was away. And so for people who are graduating, just understand that when you're away, you're on your own for real. Like, you're not going to have anybody checking you unless you have people checking you, calling you every day, or you have people that know that they need to check on you. But otherwise, they don't know, or you haven't told them, they're not going to. And so you're on your own. But I like that, though, at the same time. I've always been really independent. So I liked my independency. And sometimes I could be the default for me, but at the same time, it was also a good thing. It helped me grow, and it pushes you to be a better person, because all this is just going to help you as a trial run for adulthood.
Did you miss home?
Me? Not really. The only thing I missed was food.
Okay. I know when I went away to Albany, I, for a split second, I think I missed it, but overarchingly, it was a great time. I did go away. One of my good friend also went to Albany, so I didn't start with no friends. It was really a great experience, and I really enjoyed my time there. Is there anything else that you would like to share just regarding, going away to college, just being, and what college might look like? I mean, what is Howard going to look like in terms of the fall, the coronavirus? Are you going back, or what's the deal?
It's wishy-washy. A lot of my friends that actually go to other DC colleges are going back to school. So like, I have a friend that goes to American University, but their situation is that only freshmen and 500 upperclassmen are going to stay on campus, and then everybody else has to stay off campus. So I'm kind of nervous at the same time because I don't want to go back on campus. Howard has a lot of people, and I'm not trying to catch the coronavirus. Just in case something happens, I come back here. And a lot of my family's old, so that's a situation for me. But I'm pretty sure most of the classes are going to be a mixture of online and being in class. But for me, that's kind of a problem because architecture is hard to do online. Like this last project I had to do was kind of challenging, taking pictures of like all my bottles and stuff. Just like things like this I had to do on home, make materials, and it's hard to find materials when you're in quarantine.
Sure.
So it's kind of a challenge depending on the major. But like if we're doing English and math and biology, and the hardest thing you can do is a lab, then labs can be extra credit that you can do at your 5th year. And hopefully by your 5th year, if quarantine's over, then it's over. But architecture is a step-by-step process. So it's the balance for me.
Right. And I guess I would ask, what made you want to go away, period? I mean, there are plenty of places, I'm sure, here in New York that you could have stayed at and not gone to Howard. So what made you choose Howard? And why go away?
What made me choose Howard was the fact that they are HBCU and had a 5 years master's program. I knew that's what I wanted from jump. It didn't really matter where it was. It could have been a PWI or HBCU. I'd rather it be a HBCU than go to like a Buffalo or to a Northeastern or Miami. But I just wanted to find a place that I felt home. And Howard was a place that felt like home to me and I felt comfortable. And that also could be a problem because comfortability, you never want to be too comfortable, but at the same time, you always have a challenge. And at Howard, you still have a challenge of balancing everything, your social life, businesses that you want to create, and your academics, and then also family things. So there's like levels to everything that you have. So even though I'm comfortable, there's still things that make me uncomfortable, and that allows me to have a challenge and pushes me forward to be a better person. So I've contributed everything in that to my experience of being in Howard and why I wanted to go there. Because being out here, being at home in New York, I knew I had like a little bit easier for me, only because my parents are here. They're always gonna have to help me a lot. I can have easy access to my teachers back at high school. I can use them all the time. And I felt like it wouldn't be enough challenge for me, or just be a little too easy. And I wanted more of the challenge, to just be away and have more things on my plate and more things to manage.
And there's a question for you in the chat. Thanks, Gina, for pointing my attention to it because I was waiting for the keynote to come in. What things, from Victoria, what things did you have to learn to do on your own? I guess you did mention that earlier. So what are some things you had to learn to do on your own?
I mean, some of the stuff was to do on my own was things I knew already, just time management, making sure I get up early on time, and things that I've been doing beforehand, but now it was really on my own. Like I had to make sure I get the materials, make sure I contact somebody to make sure I have money to get materials, make sure I contact somebody to make sure I can go somewhere for a class project or for something else, or make sure I have food in my stomach. And things like that, we actually realize that you're on your own. You're kind of an adult. You have to make sure yourself is taken care of, your mental health as well, taken care of. So you have to that was one thing I knew I realized I had to do on my own, just how to manage just my mental health, my physical health, my ability to keep myself on track. And then all the little stuff that you have to do with school, just homework, tests, making sure you're on time, just little things like that. That was the main thing that I realized I had to push forward and do.
Reggie, I can't thank you enough for coming on and doing this and sharing and just, bringing to light what it is like to be in college now. I mean, because, I went to college, but I graduated a long time ago, like in 91. Right. So it's really good to hear a perspective from someone who is currently in college and what their freshman year was like, especially in these times, in Corona times. So thank you, Reggie.
Yes. Oh, David, there's a question.
You have
mental health. How did you maintain a good attitude?
Oh, good for you.
For me, it was a balance of my friends and just talking to people. For like I said, a lot of the stuff I was going through with family. My grandma has dementia, unfortunately. And so dealing with that, coming back home, dealing with family deaths, making sure my grandma's not in the hospital for having a seizure, just things like that kind of blind you. And you have to keep talking to your friends about it. You don't realize that people actually go through the same thing as you sometimes. You think sometimes people are so unique, but also people are so alike. So it's really just talking to people, understanding that people can understand the same way you feel. and help you push through and make sure you're doing your work. Like, people sat here, let me vent, and then we're like, all right, bro, let's vent and walk. And we're walking to the studio together. Let's vent and eat. We're venting and then we're walking to the cafeteria. Or we sit down in the library as we're working or something, typing an essay. Or we're in the room typing the essay. Or we're in the room just watching the game, just talking. Just little things like that for me help. And I also think that little things help for also other people, because little things matter. Understanding social environments. A lot of people these days don't know how to talk to each other because of technology. I feel like talking and understanding each other helps your mental health so much better.
Thank you again, Reggie. Can you hang out just a little bit longer?
Of course.
Okay. And if anybody has any additional questions for him, feel free to drop it in the chat. Like I said, we'll jump to that, to the questions at the end. But I know Pastor wanted to say something real quick because our keynote is here. And I know that they're on a tight schedule. So let me unmute you, Pastor. You're unmuted, Pastor.
All right. So I was going to do this at the end, but since you've cued me to do it now, I'll make it brief. I've said what I needed to say. Our PA is with us and is getting ready to give some dynamic remarks. I think that's going to inspire all of us. I just wanted to say on behalf of the St. Paul Community Baptist Church, each and every one of you will receive $500 from your church. Do what you want with it. It's for you. Congratulations. That's your happy look. Happy look. $500. $500. You get $500. You get $500. You get $500. All right. On behalf of St. Paul Community Baptist Church, congratulations.
Thank you, Pastor. So on to that point, an email will be going out to everyone after, and just so you could send us your addresses so we can get it out to you in a couple weeks, probably sometime in. It'll get to you before you go to school. How about that? Before you go away. So with the corona and stuff, it's a little tight. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen again really quickly. So when I was discussing with Pastor the idea of doing this virtual commencement, hold on. There we go. When I was sharing with Pastor the idea of doing this virtual commencement, if you know anything about Pastor, he likes to be presented with as many details as possible with the ideas that are brought to him. So as I thought about what this celebration would look like for you all, securing a powerful keynote was super important to me. I was elated when, from a simple text to our New York City public advocate, he immediately agreed to do it. I didn't just ask him because he's a politician. In fact, that had nothing to do with it. It was because he is not only a member of our ministry, but I have a script. So not only is he a member of our ministry, it's important for young people to see what they can be, but more so because he's a powerful man of action in our city way before he was elected to the PA role. His passion and commitment to doing what's right for all people is an example for others to follow. He's a little tight on time, so let me read his bio quickly. Jumaane D. Williams is the public advocate of the city of New York. Previously, he was the New York City Council representing the 45th District. Jumaane is a first-generation Brooklynite of Grenadian heritage. He graduated from the public school system, overcoming the difficulties of Tourette's and ADHD to earn a master's degree from Brooklyn College. He began his career as a community organizer at the Greater Flatbush Beacon School and later served as the executive director of New York State Tenants and Neighbors. There he fought for truly affordable, income-targeted housing across New York City and state. In the New York City Council, Jumaane championed landmark legislation that fundamentally transformed policing in New York City. Jumaane sponsored the Community Safety Act, reforming the city's police department by ending the abuse of stop, question, and frisk in communities of color, and creating the NYPD's Office of Inspector General to investigate unlawful and unethical behavior. As public advocate, Jumaane continues to be an activist elected official who brings the voices of everyday New Yorkers to city government. fighting to make New York a truly progressive beacon for all. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna unmute our public advocate so he can give his remarks. Thank
Peace
you.
and blessings. Thank you for inviting me. That great bio, Monica. Since I wrote it, and sounds pretty dope. Thank you, Pastor Brawley. I gotta follow Pastor Brawley, giving $500 to everybody. I don't know if I can do that. You may want to send a letter to their parents, because you said they can spend on what they want. Make sure that their parents heard that too. But thank you for inviting me. Everybody looks awesome. You guys look beautiful. It's amazing. And I'm proud to be here with y'all today to congratulate you as the class of 2020 in a very interesting time in a very interesting world. So I'm going to jump right in. Your hard work, your sweat and sacrifice led you to this moment. This is success, and I want to make sure everybody takes some time to celebrate that. You've earned the right to celebrate this milestone. For some of you, reaching this milestone might have proved some people wrong. It definitely did for me when I got to that milestone. So if you can take a moment wherever you are, just give yourselves a round of applause for the milestone you've reached. Now, I also want to focus on the people who helped get you here, who supported you, who empowered you to achieve, and take a collective moment to offer them gratitude for always being there, for being a part of your success. For me, it was my mom, who had to raise two knucklehead children by herself. It was family members who encouraged. I always shout out my 5th grade teacher, Miss Jeannie Ned. If it wasn't her seeing something in me that and no one else saw, the trajectory of my life might have been different. So it might have been some of your teachers. And I'm sure it was also your church. So we're going to take a second now to give them all a round of applause and say thank you so much for standing by and helping push us. There's also one thing I always want to add to the list of things you need to hold on to, which is your faith, your spiritual foundation. This church where I, along with you, sit every Sunday pre-COVID. I'm looking forward to doing it again. And it's our home, and it provides a spiritual base for us to gather collectively. We know it's not just the building, it's all of us. It's where you can say whatever you want in prayer. It's where you can ask for guidance and support, not just from the Most High, but the people who are in the church. More importantly, it helps represent a symbol of relationship between you and the Most High, who walks with you every minute of every day. I am the highest ranking Black elected official in New York City. I'm the second highest after the mayor. I thank you for the applause, wasn't but I was just saying my faith is a big part of that. And following the teachings of Jesus, peace be unto his name, was revolutionary, pushing forward social justice and equity and equality. It helps ground me when it's time to make the right decisions that sometimes are tough. And especially in this crisis, we have to hold on to that faith. And there are other people who do it in different ways, and we celebrate them as well, but you should hold on to yours. The period we find ourselves in right now, it feels like a crisis, and in many cases it is. It's uncomfortable, it's uncertain. You're graduating during an uncertain time, but I want to make sure that you understand something. Some of the greatest moments in history felt like crisis. They were uncomfortable. They left us uncertain. But our society is often better when we come out of it. And so I want folks to remember that. We are living part of history right now. These are definitely going to be chapters in the history book. The pandemic of COVID is going to change how we interact with each other. These protests that came after that, hopefully it's going to change how we view public safety, policing, all because of the protests. And many of them were led by young people like yourselves. In fact, most transformational change in this country and on this planet had young people at the forefront of it, because you have some amazing courage that some of us lose the older we get. I'm not quite as old as Pastor yet, but I'm getting there. So yes, because of all these things, your commencement looks a little different than it might have. Celebrations are more personal and individual as we continue to practice social distancing. But what stands the same is the level of achievement and accomplishment that you've all reached, especially under these circumstances. What stands the same is all the work you go on to do from here. Nelson Mandela said, education is a powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And there are a few lessons I think are vital to take from that as you graduate. One is always make sure you check the sources of information, because that quote is attributed to about 10 different people, depending on what website you're looking at. The second is that while the true education can empower you to change the world, the best way to create change often begins with simply your world, with the issues and the places closest to you, closest to your community, to your house, to your home, to your apartment, to your block, to your school, to your church. Transformational change that shakes a city very often starts on a block. We've seen that in just the last few weeks as people, again, largely young people, raise their voices to demand and to create that change. Another piece of advice that you won't see on any motivational posters or banners is, at some point, you will fail. You will fail miserably. And you may fail multiple times. Every adult on this call has failed, and they failed miserably, and probably multiple times. What's important, though, is what you do in the wake of that failure. How you come out of it, how you grow, and what you go on to do next. I always want to make sure I put that into any speeches I give, because for some reason we don't tell young people this, and they feel like when they fail, something is wrong. But it's not. It is part of life, and it's part of your growth. The only thing that's wrong is if you don't keep moving forward. And while graduation is the end of one chapter, it's the beginning of all that's to come. As we've said, 2020 will be in the history books, and it's up to you to write what's next. Find what else inspires you. Find what you enjoy, and go for it, and go for it hard. If you do what you love, everything else will follow. Also, you may fall in love with something else. That's okay too. When you're young, it is a time to explore all the things that inspire you. My first love is acting. It's what I went to school for. It's what I was going to college for. Then I studied film, and then I got into political science. It's okay to not know exactly what you want to do at this age. I'm still trying to figure it out myself, to be honest. But when you find something, you just keep moving. And I struggled, just FYI, through school. A lot of folks will probably be surprised to see where I am. 4 years of regular school, 3 years of summer school, night school, and 2 independent studies to get out of high school. It took 7 years to get my 4-year degree, and I took 4 years to get my 2-year degree. But I kept going, and I didn't get diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome and ADHD till the 9th grade. So you combine that with being a black, rambunctious kid, you get an interesting mixture of things, but we were able to move through. I was told I shouldn't run for the city council seat I ran for because it was against somebody who had it already, and it would be difficult, but I did it anyway. This is after I lost my first race for school board. I came 12th out of 13. I got spanked. It was real bad, but we kept moving. And the Most High lined everything up. I got elected city council, and I've been trying to cause as much trouble as I can since that time. Good trouble, as John Lewis called it. I also want you to know, you're not the leaders of tomorrow, you're the leaders of today. We are going to need you. And I want to be clear about that. Everything we're doing now, our job is to make things just a little shinier, pass it on to you, so you could take the baton, make it a little shinier for the folks that come after you. This is an amazing time. It's an amazing time to graduate. It's an amazing time to come into the leaders that you are. And I'm proud that you've given me some time to speak with you. And I'm very proud of you. And I know I'm not alone in looking ahead to what you'll accomplish in the future. In fact, I am very much counting on it. So once again, congratulations. Peace and blessings to you all, and love and light.
Thank you so much, Public Advocate Jumaane Williams. Thank you for joining us. I know you have a crazy schedule, so feel free to jump if you need to. If there are, and I gotta thank his office for just coordinating this. They were a joy to work with and just very communicative and made everything come to pass once he said yes. So your office is awesome.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments that anyone would like to make? Any questions for Reggie? Even any questions for the public advocate? You can drop them in the chat since he's hasn't ran right off. I will say when he made the failure comment, I heard that immediately for myself, because there has been so many times that I have failed in life. Shoot, I just failed on this Zoom call, earlier today. So there's that. But I kept going and it didn't throw me and drop me off of my game. And also when he talked about, his first desire, his first love was to be an actor. My first desire was to be a doctor. And anybody that knows me also knows that I'm not great at math and sciences, so that's not going to work. You wouldn't want Dr. Britton working on you that doesn't know her own math and science. So it ended up working out that I started doing what I ended up doing and falling into marketing and really enjoying it and going into the music industry, which was a great time, but also being able to make the decision and pivot and go out of music and into nonprofit, which I love so much, and working at the church that I go to. So, you're not necessarily married into what you think you might want to do right now. It might change, and that's okay. So be open to that as well. I'm not seeing any comments necessarily or questions that anyone has. So Pastor, I'm gonna unmute you so you can make closing remarks. You're unmuted.
There's not much to say. That was an excellent speech by our public advocate, who has been doing a phenomenal job, not just with our community, but leading our entire city. And I thank him for taking time out of his schedule to share with all of us today. I want to thank Monica Britton for organizing us and convening us, bringing us into community. We will share this speech, this moment, this event on our social media platform so the world can see you and celebrate. So this was intimate to begin with, and then we're going to share it with a broader audience. So I want to let you know you're still going to be celebrated for the days to come. I want to let you know how proud we are, again, of all of you and your accomplishments. Again, congratulations.
Thank you, Pastor. And as I do in another meeting that I facilitate, I unmute everybody at the end, just so people can say whatever they want to say. So everybody's unmuted. If you want to say thank you to Pastor, if you want to just shout out your college, I don't care what you do, or goodbye. Thank you for joining us today, and have a great remainder of your Wednesday.
You got it. My thing isn't working now. Oh.
Thank you, Ms. Monica.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Congratulations to everybody.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Monica.
For doing this.
Many
And
blessings
Tamani,
to you.
even though she had her challenges, but thank you, and public advocate, everybody. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Students, unmute. I want to hear your voices.
They muting back. Some of them are muting back.
Thank you, Pastor.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Please look out for that email. So we need your email so you can get that 500. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Imani, are you trying to speak? Wait, because you're muted. Or are you trying to stay muted? Okay.
Thank you. Because I couldn't unmute myself.
Oh, okay. Elijah, you can't unmute?
Just want to say thank you.
All right. I'm trying to unmute you, Elijah. You're unmuted. Elijah is unmuted. Ariana, you trying to unmute? Or you just waving? Wait, I'm gonna unmute you because I don't know what you're doing. Okay. Wait. Okay, Ariana. Oh, Anthony Crowley.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Ms. Monica.
You're welcome. Why can't I be great? Oh, hush. You're unmuted.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you, Pastor, and thank you, Ms. Monica, as well, for doing this.
Thank you guys for showing up. You're so welcome. I'm trying to unmute Makai. Oh, I just did it. Wait. Because I do want to hear people's voices too. Ah.
They need to unmute as well.
Yeah, because this is giving me, Makai, you're unmuted.
Oh, thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Miss Monica, for this experience. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for getting on. Yay. Matthew, can you unmute? Go ahead.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Miss Monica, for doing this for us. Thank you for the support.
You're welcome. Thank you for getting on. Victoria?
Thank you for the meeting.
Anthony, register. I don't see your picture either, and you're muted.
Speech.
Anthony?
Can you hear me? Thank you for everything.
Good to see everybody. Oh, okay. I can't see your name that well. Anansa? Did you speak? I think everybody spoke. I think. Ayana, did you speak?
Okay, yeah, I said thank you.
Okay, I didn't hear you. Okay, because I had unmuted everybody at once.
And I commented in the chat too.
Oh, thank you, everybody. I guess, Kim is saying she wants to, Kim, you trying to say something? Okay, Kim.
Hi, thank you guys so much. Pastor Brawley, Monica, thank you so much. Even though we left New York, St. Paul's never left us, and I appreciate you guys so much for your encouragement and your support, all of Anthony's life.
Thank you guys for getting on. Thank you. From Delaware, Lakai.
Thank you. Yes, well, thank you for everything.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for getting on. And I think we're done. So now I can save this and put it up because I know there's family and other church members that want to see it. So thank you guys for getting on. Thank everybody. Have a great remainder of your Wednesday.
Thank you. Many blessings to you all.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, take care.